especially if you like drinking and you like casual affection with the locals. That's all happening there. You'll be there during Eurovision, so you'll get to see sort of this big furor over, okay, Iceland's going to compete in this big contest.
What do they compete in?
So Eurovision is the European equivalent of American Idol. It's been going on a lot longer.
Oh, okay.
It's how ABBA got famous.
Fantastic.
Every country has its song, and Iceland's never hosted it because they don't have a center that's large enough.
Yeah.
But and then there's some political rivalry and some history of hurt feelings between countries about how countries vote. Some countries always vote for certain countries. It's fucked up and it's shallow, and the songs are really poppy and stupid, but it can be fun, and the drinking that goes on that night afterwards, and the sea of people is a phenomenon all on its own. So to be in Iceland and to miss that would be to miss a good opportunity to see what the locals do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be there during the beginning of the summer festival. I believe it's a couple days in either June or the end of April, something like that. But when I'm going to be there, so that'll be good to check out. I couldn't find any other things to do, but I'm sure once I get over there, people will let me know what's going on in those months as well.
Yeah, you'll get to ask yourself the question for the first time: do I want to order whale meat? Right?
Right.
That's
I heard a lot of stuff like that on the couch surfing comments or whatever. People were like, "Oh yeah, this host encouraged me to try sheep's blood pudding or whatever."
Right. So you'll get to accrue a whole list of weird shit that you ate that you probably won't want to eat again. What's interesting too is that Reykjavik, and you might want to take out the camera and interview people about these things. I wish I had.
Yeah.
Interview them about, for example, what the locals' attitudes are to whaling, and how in the same harbor you have both the whaling vessel and the whale watching vessel, right? Two different groups of people coming back and parking their boats right next to each other. How does that work, right? What's the future of whaling for Iceland?
Yeah.
And whale watching is such a big part of their economy. How do they reconcile that with the fact that they're also killing the same whales they're photographing a second earlier?
That's an interesting concept.
So the Grapevine there is the English language newspaper, and that's really
I saw
helpful.
That online.
Yeah, you can check it online. That helps you get into the mind of the Iceland culture and kind of see what's going on there.
There was actually an article on dumpster diving in there. That's how I found it
Yeah.
last night. So.
And also, I think that's where yarn bombing started, was in Iceland.
Really?
And now you can go downtown and see Seattle's trees are covered. So that's another thing you'll see. Yeah, lots of good graffiti.
Right. I need to learn to knit then. Be a part of that.
You gotta be quick.
I know, right? Can't learn by doing a tree. What were some of the most unexpected things you had to adapt to? Or you weren't prepared for?
When I was camping, and again, this was in the spring, not the winter.
Yeah.
But still, when I was camping, I had to wear every layer of clothing I brought in my sleeping bag. And even then, it was pretty chilly.
Do you know how cold it got?
I didn't really look at the thermometers, but sometimes with the wind chill coming off the glaciers, all I can tell you is adjectives. And yeah, it was
quite chilly.
There's certain euphemisms guys can use, but anyway, it was it's colder than a witch's titty sometimes. So
point taken.
Just be aware.
Yeah.
Of course, you should be aware. It's Iceland.
Right. That was one of my main concerns. Is if I am going to go hitch around the island, if I do get stuck somewhere, then I need to be prepared to deal with the weather in that area.
Right. Also, there's some jokes that the locals tell that is kind of indicative of the place. Like, for example, they'll say, if you ever get lost in the woods in Iceland, just stand up. Right? Because no trees grow taller than you. Pretty much they have, I think they have some birches and whatnot, but it's all like a miniature elven forest. You can't take it seriously. They don't really have woods. And I met a lady who was working on trying to regrow the forest there, and it's a noble cause, but the Vikings cut them all down, and it hasn't really recovered.
Right.
Similarly, there's another joke they say where the baby polar bear looks at the mother and says, "Mommy, where do polar bears go when they die?" She says, "Well, honey, they go to Iceland." Because sometimes they'll have polar bears float over on icebergs.
Right.
And it's become a more and more common event And of course, the locals will shoot them the second they get onto Iceland soil. And another person I met there, you'll run into people who are involved in these causes because it's such a small world, if you will.
Right.
He was working on a project to get the polar bears into the zoo as opposed to killed, because it's better press for Iceland. You can make more money, right? Because people go to see it.
Right.
And you're not killing an innocent animal, right? So it'd be interesting to follow up when you're there to see how many polar bear sightings have they had in the last year, and what have they done.
Sounds like a really good opportunity if I do research to go with a bunch of questions and just learn about their
There's
culture.
no reason not to. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
They're going to be so affable and happy to answer it
Oh,
anyway.
good.
And again, the connections you can make there are unprecedented. For example, you would never get near Obama here, no matter what kind of question you had.
When my parents went, they had pancakes with the president.
There you go.
They actually
That's
did.
the point. So if you can get that close, that easily to the president, you can get to anybody. So you want to talk to the minister of whatever, just schedule an appointment. They'll probably meet you the next day.
That's fantastic.
I didn't take advantage of that, but you can. Yeah.
Just going to learn what I want to learn then.
Yeah.
Figure out what is interesting about
Take a
it.
tour of one of their factories. You know, there's interesting stuff that comes out of Iceland. For example, there's an entrepreneur there who I think is working with people on the East Coast of the U.S., especially tourist agencies, in developing an industry for anglerfish semen, I believe it was, where they will milk the fish before they kill them, and that's a delicacy on the East Coast. So they'll export that, right, in mass from Iceland, and that's his business.
That I can see how that's an entrepreneurial business. It's not one would normally aspire to.
High protein, that's all I can say.
Do you have any other comments?
Another thing that might be interesting for you to follow up with in terms of interviewing, I certainly would watch it, is the locals' beliefs in a variety of cryptozoological creatures, ranging from snow brownies to elves to trolls.
A lot of Scandinavian countries out here are really into actually...
You should definitely watch the movie Troll Hunter before you leave. That's more Norway-based, but still, you kind of get the picture. That people take this seriously. I think sometimes they're sort of kidding with you, like we do with Santa Claus, but I think most of the time, especially in the smaller villages, they're deadpan serious about it. They will move their highway if they deem that the elves don't like it, and they've done this several times. So you can talk to the civil engineers there about that. You can talk to the political figures there about how elves have legal rights, right? Ask them in what cases have the elves been defended. I don't know, but it's fascinating. And you can get into questions of religion there too, because their beliefs are that serious.